Men, I want to talk to you today about something that most guys would never actually really put together. But because I'm almost always thinking about style, especially so I can make good videos for you, it's something that's always in my mind. And it's something that's come up lately as I've been listening to a book. Now, if you guys are not on this train where you're listening to audiobooks or you're reading books, if you're not feeding your brain every day, you're really missing out. And I think that that's one of the most important things that a man can do to better himself is to always be seeking new knowledge. And for me, I don't really have the time to sit down and read, and I don't focus very well. I kind of zombie read. But what I do have plenty of time to do is sit in my car and listen to music or stupid talk radio. And so I enjoy listening to books instead. So I just finished reading On Killing by Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman, all right? Now this book was recommended to me by a friend at a conference that I spoke at the 21 convention. And in it, he basically just talks about the psychology of why some men can kill, why some men can't, and all this stuff that goes into it. Total paradigm shift for me as far as my understanding of just the frequency with which killing happened in the past or the frequency with which it's happening now, conditioning and all these other things. But obviously, like I said, I tie some of this into style stuff. Let me read you some of the notes that I took as I was listening to this. Okay, here's the big one. The primary reasons soldiers kill are pressure from other men in their group, respect for their leaders, desire not to lose face with either, and desire to contribute to the common goals of the group. Not ideology, not fear, not hatred. Crazy, right? Basically, the main reason that men are willing to overcome this huge natural barrier of killing another person is not because they believe something different than the guy they're trying to kill, not because they are afraid of dying themselves, not because they hate the other person, but because of the respect that they have for the other men in their group. The respect that they have for the other men in their platoon, the respect that they have for their leaders, the fact that they don't want to lose face with these guys. Now, what does that have to do with clothing? I'm sure that you can probably think of the number one most common rebuttal that I hear from guys when they say, well, why should I care about my style? Or when they hear me tell them they should care about their style. The number one thing I hear from other men, especially American men, is a real man doesn't care what other people think of him. How often have you heard that in your life? How often have you tried to convince yourself that if you really want to be a real man, then you have to not care what others think about you? It's total garbage. It is absolute garbage. Every single one of us cares about what other people think of us. The difference is caring about what the right people think of you. Now, I am not someone who subscribes to this idea of like global universalism and believes that I need to be concerned about what everybody in every corner of the world cares about me. I don't care. I don't care what somebody in Zimbabwe or in Mongolia or in France or even in Washington State. Well, okay, maybe some of you guys in Washington State. But really, some of these guys are just, they're not my tribe. They're not my people. I don't care. But I care deeply what my people think of me. And I guarantee you that you do too. And rather than being ashamed of it, rather than thinking that's something that you have to try to get over, it's something that you should embrace. And tying that into your clothing, into your style, you shouldn't dress in a way that you don't care what other people think of you because you're never going to accomplish that. You should dress in a way that's cohesive and consistent with the attitudes and the goals and the opinions of the people whose opinion does matter to you. Basically, dress to your tribe. If you've heard me speak before, if you've purchased my Style as Storytelling course, you've heard me talk about this. Dress to your tribe. And that's a hugely critical factor in being able to dress well. Because if you're a part of my tribe, if you're here at Beckett and Rob, we're guys who, we care about suiting, we care about menswear. If I show up to, especially an event, but certainly if I show up to the shop or anything else to that effect where I'm representing our group, and I'm not dressed well, I'm doing damage to my tribe. I'm doing damage to our business. At the same time, I can see guys who dress completely opposite the way that I do. I can see guys who are complete barbarians or they're gym rats or they're anything else that they want nothing to do with suiting, and I can still appreciate their style because I know that they are dressing to their tribe. So when I tell you to dress well, when I tell you to dress intentionally, I don't mean dress like me unless you want to be part of my tribe. What I'm telling you is to think about what your clothing says, to think about how it works as far as your cohesion within your group, and then dress in a way that it helps with that. Dress to your tribe, it's the same as killing for your tribe. The opinions of the men whom you value, the opinions of the women and the people who you value, That matters. Don't try to convince yourself that it doesn't. Embrace the fact that it does and use it as a way to better yourself and to improve yourself. Use it as a way to improve yourself aesthetically. Use it as a way to improve yourself morally. Use it as a way to improve yourself socially. So, next time somebody tells you that a real man doesn't care what anybody thinks of him, call him a liar, because they are. And I guarantee you that that guy cares what somebody thinks of him. He just doesn't care what you think or what the general populace thinks, which is great, because he understands, even if it's on some low subconscious level, that the opinions of the important people matter, and they should. Hope you guys like it. Leave it a thumbs up. I'll catch you next time.